Sunday morning, 3 days to the election. Which way is the world going to go? With us is Bill O'Reilly this morning, and he is concerned too. And Bill, you're one of the smartest guys I know. Tell us, we're going to decide the fate of the world on Tuesday. Well, we're not going to know on Tuesday. By Wednesday or Thursday, hopefully. Give us your evaluation. Where the heck are we?
I have predicted that Trump will win because there are a few differences now in how Americans perceive both candidates than there were 4 years ago. So that's where you start. You start in 2020. So it's Biden against Trump. And Trump got 74 million votes, more than any other Republican in the history of the United States. All right? Out of those 74 million, the essential question you asked this year is, how many of those Trump voters 4 years ago will not vote for him again? I think very small. I think he's going to hold around the 70 million mark because the MAGA people are loyal. But the biggest thing is that the Biden administration has been disastrous for most Americans due to the higher prices and the open border. You didn't have that 4 years ago. When Trump left office, inflation was 1.4%. So by logic, you would have to say that Trump is good for between 70 and 75 million votes. A lot of votes.
That's a lot of votes. And
right.
I still don't understand how Biden got that many votes but that's the
because it was a hate Trump vote.
Yeah.
And Biden didn't do anything to win. He just stayed out of the way, and Trump is so bombastic. His style is so extreme for a politician that a lot of Americans and a majority of women were offended by it.
And
but
he hid himself in the basement for like the last 4 months, and people didn't know how bad he really was.
I didn't know.
I didn't know
because
either.
He had governed in a Senate for decades. He wasn't a progressive loon in the Senate. And he wasn't a loon as vice president. He didn't do anything. Obama sent him to funerals, though Obama didn't give him anything to do. But he wasn't a crazy guy. And then all of a sudden he gets in the White House and he's opening the border. And everybody goes, what? And that's what you get when you elect people who will not campaign or answer questions. And Kamala Harris certainly doesn't answer any questions.
And how many, Bill, how many executive orders he signed the first day shutting down the oil in the United States?
Sure.
And it was just, go ahead.
That ignited inflation. So I don't know whether you saw
it made $5 oil, $6 oil.
Yeah. I don't know whether you saw my debate with Mark Cuban on Wednesday, but Cuban's a big Kamala Harris supporter. And he was coming in with, well, Trump caused inflation because of the deals he made with Saudi Arabia and Putin about oil. And I just took him apart. That's ridiculous.
I'm disappointed in Mark Cuban thinking that. He's supposed to be a smart guy, and he's pretty dumb if he really didn't realize that.
Well, people believe what they want to believe, John.
Yes.
And he wants to believe anything that will help Kamala Harris. He's a smart guy. I mean, yeah. I know him. But he doesn't want to believe anything good about Trump. He wants to blame Trump for everything. So when I predicted that Trump would win, I used the model of 4 years ago, how many votes Trump got. I don't think he's going to lose very many of those votes, but I do think that the Democrats will, based on their inefficiency in 4 years. You're still going to have the hate Trump vote. That's still Kamala Harris's main card. We hate Trump. Trump's a fascist. Trump's Hitler, all that. That's what she has. She doesn't have any policy. Won't answer any questions. Nobody knows if she has any problem solving skills at all. I don't believe she does because she didn't demonstrate that in the 4 years she was a senator. But that's just my opinion. But there's something else that's interesting. So in 4 out of the 6 swing states, there's been a surge in Republican registration, voter registration. And North Carolina, huge. Pennsylvania, enormous. Arizona. And those 3 states, when you look at the numbers, how many more Republicans are registered now than 4 years ago, you got to say Trump's got a really good chance to take those states. If he does, he wins. Because if you change your registration or just sign up to a party, there's a 90% chance you will support the top of the ticket for the new party that you're registered in. So that's where my analysis and prediction is based on. Loyalty to Trump and increased voter registration for the Republicans in the swing states.
And the thing I tell people, my European friends, I have a lot of European friends, and I say to them that the free world depends on a strong White House. And right now, we don't have a strong White House, and we don't have a strong president, and I don't think Harris will be any stronger. And look what happens to the Suez Canal and the Red Sea has been shut for like 6 months. I mean, that is mind-boggling. We let a bunch of criminals, a bunch of terrorists shut down a main way where our oil is being shipped and our food products are being shipped, and that's causing inflation.
What do your European friends reply to that? What do they say to you?
What did they say? I think a lot of them are starting to lean towards Trump, and they're starting to believe that the free world is not going to be free unless they have a strong president in the United States.
Okay. So you know me, I'm a fact-based guy. I'm no emotion in my vote or analysis at all. None. That separates me from 90% of the media pundits. And here's how I see the Biden White House. And you have to extend that to Harris, because you'll remember, and this is the statement that's going to sink Kamala Harris. When she was asked on a dopey View, is there anything that you'd be differently than Joe Biden did in the last 3.5 years? And she said, I can't think of anything. That was a stunning and dumb statement for her to make, because every administration, and you know that from reading my book, Confronting the Presidents, every administration makes mistakes, and she wouldn't cop to one. So,
it's a problem. It's
right.
She doesn't,
and the reason she wouldn't do it is because she's not a thinker. She doesn't think. All right, she doesn't analyze. She does what she is told to do. So she's not senile, or maybe that word is too strong. She's not compromised mentally like Biden is, but she's a machine politician. And in New York, we're very familiar with those people. They go along with what the party tells them to do.
I've heard those voices.
The Democratic Party has no policy to stop the evildoers in the world. They don't have any philosophy on Putin or Xi or the mullahs in Iran. Those are the big 3. What's the Democratic policy on those 3? They don't have one.
Horrible.
And that's what you're talking about.
And the other thing is, Americans care about at home. I say to them that if Trump gets elected, you could have $2 oil again. If Kamala, $2 gasoline again. And if Kamala gets elected, you might have $5 gasoline again. And the borders, if you care about safety in your streets, why are they letting 13,000 murderers in? And a lot of them are in New York City. I mean, I believe in immigration. We both believe in immigration, but you need some checks and balances. I mean, and I don't think Kamala has any answers.
I don't even think she cares about the issue, John.
That's horrible.
I don't think Kamala Harris cares one whit about the open border. Look, when you say to somebody who's going to vote for Kamala Harris, when you go down the litany of problems that we are experiencing, not only in the United States, but very acutely in New York City and New York State, when you run them down, the people you're talking to, the Harris supporters, they don't counter. They can't say, no, the open border is good. And New York City spending $100 million on people who shouldn't be here is good. They can't do that. But they pivot right back to, well, Trump's a fascist. Trump's this, Trump's that. And that is the core of Harris's support. They hate Trump. That has not gone away.
Well, Bill O'Reilly, we're out of time. Your new book, Confronting the Presidents, it's doing great, I hear.
8 weeks in the marketplace, about 250,000 copies sold, John. What do you think?
Well, that's a lot more than I sold. Thank you. I mean, you're doing a great job. You're going to go down in history as the world's greatest author. Thank you for coming on Sunday morning and giving us the pulse of the situation. And let's pray for America, and let's do whatever we can in the next 3 days to help our kids and grandkids to come.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks for having me in.
Thank you.
Eden Memorial Chapels understands Jewish funerals can take many forms. Some are Orthodox, while others are more conservative or of a Reformed nature. There's no one better. With services close to all New York and New Jersey cemeteries, Eden Memorial Chapels offer fair and balanced pricing and can provide easy transfer of you and your loved ones to Israel. While you're grieving, they're here to take care of all the details so that you deal with less bureaucracy and have more peace of mind. Go to EdenMemorial.com. That's EdenMemorial.com.